You know the exact feeling. You want to get in shape, start a side business, or finally write that book. So you sit there, staring at the ceiling, waiting for the perfect moment to start. We are taught that to accomplish anything difficult, we need to get motivated first. We treat motivation like a magical fuel. We assume that if we don't feel inspired, we simply cannot do the work. So we watch a video or read a podcast, and suddenly we are filled with energy. We hit the gym, we stay up late working, and we tell ourselves that we are finally changing our lives. But 3 days later, it suddenly starts raining, or you are tired after a long day at work. Because you believe that motivation is a strict requirement for action, the moment that feeling vanishes, the action stops. You end up assuming you just aren't disciplined enough, or that you don't want the goal badly enough. You go back to the couch and wait for that elusive feeling to return. An overinvestment in emotion fails us because emotions never last. As long as we treat a temporary feeling as a strict prerequisite for taking action, sustained progress is impossible. Behavioral science reveals a specific mechanic of human nature that contradicts the rules we usually follow. Consider the standard model of behavior, a linear sequence where inspiration creates motivation, which finally results in action. In this model, if the first step is missing, the whole chain is crossed out. But motivation is an endless loop. Your physical actions create emotional reactions and inspirations, which then move on to motivate your future actions. Action is the actual cause of motivation. Because of this loop, we can use the do something principle. If you lack the drive to make an important change, you simply do something, anything really, and use the reaction to that action to jumpstart the engine. Executing even the most trivial, menial task alters your brain state. It proves to your nervous system that you are capable of forward movement, which lowers the psychological barrier to tackle larger, more complex goals. Action is not the reward for feeling motivated. It is the specific tool we must use to artificially generate the motivation we currently lack. Think about the exact second you sit down to begin a difficult project. You feel a sudden, intense wave of internal resistance, and you tell yourself you just aren't motivated right now. Behavioral design, the study of how environment and psychological triggers shape human choices, suggests that what we call a lack of motivation is actually a reflex. When a task begins, the brain attempts to escape the acute psychological pain of boredom, anxiety, or the fear of incompetence. Your brain is just trying to cool off by reaching for a distraction. We often tell ourselves that if we could just find our true passion, we would magically bypass all of this discomfort and the work would feel effortless. Scientists have found that passion is rarely a prerequisite for starting. Instead, it is a side effect. As you put in the hard work to get better at a skill, you develop competence and autonomy. Those traits generate deep passion after the fact. Tolerating the temporary pain of friction and putting in the unglamorous repetitions is the only reliable way to build the passion we are constantly chasing. Even if you push through the pain, relying strictly on your internal willpower eventually breaks you down. Maintaining this loop through pure willpower is a losing battle because emotional energy is a finite, easily depleted resource. You only have so much focus to give before you are exhausted. High achievers don't have more willpower, they simply have clearer paths. They engineer their physical surroundings so that doing the right thing is the path of least resistance. By removing the obstacles in advance, taking action requires zero emotional energy. They rely on predetermined systems and schedules. A system dictates the behavior that needs to happen, completely regardless of how the individual happens to feel on a given Tuesday morning. Amateurs let their fluctuating moods dictate their progress. Professionals fall back on the unshakable reliability of their systems. So if you are sitting there waiting for the right time to start, you now know exactly what is keeping you stuck. There is a massive advantage in knowing that you don't actually need to feel good, inspired, or ready to do meaningful work. Continuing to wait for the perfect emotional state guarantees a life held hostage by unreliable moods. Ignore the emotional deficit. Initiate the physical movement of starting. Trust the biological loop to follow. In the pursuit of any significant achievement, taking action must always conquer the wait for emotion. If you value exploring the hidden architecture of the brain and want to continue unpacking the psychology driving our world, subscribe to the Mind Expedition.